Michigan Outdoors is a production of Fred Trost Outdoors Club and Outdoors Forever, with grants from the Stroh Brewery Company, makers of Stroh's and Stroh Light, fire brewed for smoother taste. Stroh's is spoken here. And Auto Owners Insurance Company for all your life, home, car, and business insurance needs. Available through your local independent auto owners agent, listed in the yellow pages under insurance.
Every January, we head up to Tip-Up Town, USA at Houghton Lake, the largest winter carnival of its kind anywhere in the country. Now, we have a good time with all the festivities, but we also spend some serious time out on the ice setting tip-ups in the tradition of this 38-year-old event. The temperature was mild last weekend, but the fish were hitting. We'll get the flags popping in just a minute, so you stay tuned. I'm Fred Trost. It's Thursday night, time for Michigan Outdoors.
From the rugged shore and woodlands of the north, its history of copper mines and iron ore, the Great Lakes fisheries. To the farmlands of the southern counties, we'll look around again at all that waits the sportsman in the state of Michigan. And sometimes when the moon brings out the diamonds in the snow, and the stillness of the forest lies encased in Arctic cold, the wind might whisper through the trees, listen if you can, it tells you of the beauty in this state of Michigan.
Every year a tip-up town is different. The weather changes from day to day, week to week, and winter to winter. This year, the temperature was as comfortable as you find. Sunday morning was foggy, and we were fishing the North Shore with locals Jack Jury and Dave Marker. When you get a lot of people on the ice and lots of shanties and vehicles, the water is forced up through the ice fishing holes and pressure cracks. Slippery conditions, as slippery as you'll find, and without ice cleats or creepers, we all have to walk slowly, sort of skate out to check the tip-ups. Sort of slide out here. Now, John, you're going to want to watch these holes here. There you go. This is on the old traditional tip-up.
Well,
is it moving?
No, but I'll tell you what. I can see right now. I forget. Oh, yeah, there it goes.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Is that a good one?
Well, I don't know about good one, but there's a pikey. Oh, whoa, whoa!
Well, that's going to be...
It's legal.
You think?
Yeah. Well, I got a measuring tape. We'll go find out.
Okay. Northern pike have to be 20 inches to be legal, and this one almost makes it. Not going to be?
No, let's take a look at it.
Yeah, let's see.
It's not a legal fish.
We'll be looking for 20 inches. Oh, no.
Nope, 19, another 19.
Now hold it, now hold it. That's the way the biologists measure them.
Nope.
Nope.
Not
Well,
going to do it.
Yeah, half-inch short. We have the pliers there?
Spreaders?
I don't know if I'll need the spreaders or not. You only have 2 barbs on this one. Come on, Pike, trying to be gentle. Well, you want to put the spreaders on there? Clamp right down like an alligator. There we can see. There.
Okay.
And there's the minnow. Well, maybe he can swallow it.
Okay.
Well, we'll send him back.
No damage?
Here he goes.
There you go.
Action can be fast on tip-ups, and soon we have another one. Here we go. Well, it hasn't moved here. It's angled off that direction. Let's see. Oh, it's starting to move again. Some people set the hook on pike gently. I don't. I give it a hard yank just in case it's a big one. Hey! Oh, little one. This pike was swimming away when I set the hook, or at least facing the other way. One way the hook gets caught in the corner of its mouth is if it hadn't tried to swallow the minnow, it was holding in the front of its mouth, but facing the opposite direction, so when you yank on the line, it nearly always hooks the fish in the corner of the mouth. Now, Houghton Lake is full of big pike, and little ones, lots of little ones, around the minimum size of 20 inches. It didn't look to me like this one was even worth measuring. My guess is he's a half-inch short.
Okay, fine.
There we go. give him a
Fred's going to let him go.
There he goes. Jack Jury fishes Houghton Lake a lot, so he's seen a lot of different conditions. But what makes the fish turn on and turn off, that's a question that everybody asks. Tip-up fishing is no big secret. The techniques and the baits are simple. So it's not difficult to get the flags flying if you're in the right spot. But Jack and his buddies drill lots of holes and move around, trying to find those hot spots.
Back.
I wonder how far they come for the tip-up. You know, if they tend to do much cruising.
I don't know. I hear stories in the wintertime that those fish are really more dormant and don't move around a lot. We've had days where we've drilled a hole and set a line, and you no sooner dropped your bait down and you'll have a fish take it. And our theory is that the darn fish are just laying down there and just happen to drill a hole in the right spot, right where they were, right where they're frequenting. I think maybe with milder weather like this, you got a change in the weather, you may find the fish moving around a little bit more now than, you know, what they do in the cold weather when.
Now, how are they going to know the difference in the weather, Jack? Really, the water is the same temperature, isn't it?
I think you watch your barometers and look at the barometric pressure. And you know, yesterday we had such a tremendous wind on this lake. I think those fish feel the pressure of that wind, and along with the barometric pressure change. And I really feel that there's a lot of credibility to the fish biting with the changes in the weather. But every day.
So the question is, when you look at the weather, how can you determine when they're going to bite and when they're going to shut off? Yeah. How do you tell?
Well, I think that there are days that you're going to find that are supposed to be good fishing days based upon the barometer, that you can come out here and get skunked, and then there are those days weather-wise where you're not supposed to catch any fish and you'll catch fish. So I think that...
What's the conclusion?
I think you just have to be in the right place at the right time.
Now, how do you know when to stay home?
I try not to when it comes to fishing.
I know it.
But I think it's just like anything else. You know, you spend your days out here, and you know, we certainly spend our share of time out here. But you know, we have our good days and we have our bad days, and I think it's just like any sport. You have to put in your time, and with that time, you're going to have the good days and the bad days.
You said that so well. Jack Jury gives about the best advice anybody can give about fishing. Go when you can. Put in your time, and no matter whether it's fishing in the summer or tip-up fishing in the winter, your turn will come. So relax and enjoy being outdoors. My turn finally came when a pike that was large enough to be legal finally hit a tip-up. I'll pull this baby up, but it's not moving, but the line is off there. Now, Jack says it goes around the hole like that in a semicircle, then it's a walleye. Huh, Jack?
They don't usually take out much line.
Yeah.
He's
on there. Whoa! Oh, pike. Not a bad one. Not a bad one. Come over the hole here, John. Oh. No, I can get it. Oh! How about that? That is a frisky pike. Well, he didn't want to go far. That looks like a legal one.
Yeah.
Bob, you have legal it was, 23 inches. Not a monster, but proof that even we can catch pike. Something you could do at Tip-Up Town, USA. For a great winter recipe, great for Tip-Up Town, authentic field kitchen stew by Larry Raymond of Westland. Kathy, this is one that you weren't in on.
No.
John McKensie up at Coyle's restaurant next to the museum prepared this, and of course
removing the fat and fell. He's doing good.
That's what you have to do to keep venison flavorful, so it doesn't get the off taste, especially of the fat, John says.
I agree.
He's leaving a little bit of the fell in there. You know, you can separate the muscles and clean all of that off if you want. But
well, it takes time, and if you got time, it's definitely worth it. Going to go ahead and chop up garlic, and he added it here. Looks great.
And some onions, not too many. Looks
like they're chopped fine.
What we're coming out with, Kath, is well, he calls it authentic field kitchen stew. It is just the most basic, most stick-to-the-rib stew recipe.
Those are the best kind.
Put the meat and the onions and the garlic on the stove with a little salt and pepper, and that's really to cook the meat.
Okay, you're just going to let that simmer then, basically, probably a couple hours?
Oh, you can do it for a half hour, 45 minutes before you add the...
Okay.
Sure. You know, you can do a lot of these recipes to taste. And there's your thickening, the cornstarch with kitchen bouquet, Now, John says Kitchen Bouquet doesn't do anything really but color.
It absolutely is caramel coloring, and it doesn't have as much salt as soy sauce, so it is definitely better than soy sauce.
And there it is, the authentic field kitchen stew, and I'll tell you, John and I both found that it just tasted great. Here it is, authentic field kitchen stew. Well, John, this does not look like, I mean, I'm not demeaning the recipe, but it doesn't look like your gourmet, you know, it's not a complicated recipe, and it certainly doesn't have any exotic ingredients. What does a chef say about a simple recipe like this?
The simple recipes are always the best. Always the best.
There's no celery in here?
Just a simple plain Jane stew. Should be very good.
Let's see if you can do that without burning your mouth.
Gotta be tough, Fred.
Mmm. Well, that venison is good.
Very good. Tender, too. Mm-hmm. The long time cooking helps.
Mmm.
And the gravy's good.
Just like Grandma. Well, if John McKensie gives it his stamp of approval, you know it's a good recipe. Authentic field kitchen stew from Larry Raymond from Westland. A great recipe. It's in our Outdoor Digest. Address coming up at the end of the show.
This letter comes from Durrell Martindale of Caro, Michigan. He writes and says all the magazines and videos on deer hunting show products and techniques for hunting deer with rifles from tree stands. I've never heard any reason why Michigan doesn't allow tree stand hunting with guns, so why not? Well, first of all, no bill has ever been introduced that would allow gun hunting from tree stands. In fact, there seems to be some sentiment against it, even though it's legal in some surrounding states. Safety is probably the largest concern, since several hunters are injured or even killed each year from self-inflicted gunshot wounds while climbing in or out of a tree stand right here in Michigan, where it's always been illegal. And don't count on it happening soon either. Pushing bow hunting from tree stands through the legislature back in 1974 was no easy task.
The opening weekend of Tip-Up Town at Houghton Lake saw some great catches that won the fishing contest. This 12-pound stringer of perch by Luther Freeman. Ed Pelk from Sterling Heights caught a 1-pound 3-ounce perch, the largest. 8 1/4 inches long, this 11-ounce sunfish, which Alan Post from St. Louis caught, was the biggest, while Outdoors Club member Tom Balicki from Caro caught the largest stringer of sunfish. Now, bluegills filled the stringer for Jack Austin from Trenton, 10 pounds of gills, and his 10-inch 14-ouncer was the largest. The biggest rock bass, 14 ounces, 11 inches long, caught by Carl Falk from Sumner, and Dan Cadwell from Houghton Lake caught the biggest stringer full. This 10-pound stringer of crappies won a prize for Ron Simons, and his Houghton Lake compatriot Ray Evilsizer swept the category with the largest crappie, 13 1/4 inches, weighed 1 pound 4 ounces. Now, Houghton Lake has some nice walleye. Good example was Junior Jennings' 6-pound 2-ouncer, 26 inches long, and how about this 12.5-pound stringer full, which Don Lambie from Eagle caught jigging on the North Shore. Pike are plentiful in these waters. Don Seibald from Midland managed to land a limit of northerns that weighed in at 23.5 pounds. How about that? And the biggest northern pike of the weekend, well, the biggest fish caught on the lake that weekend, was a 12 3/4 pound northern, 3 feet long. Houghton Laker Gordon Caby was the lucky angler. You know, bass season is closed in the winter, but in the summer, Houghton Lake produces some trophy largemouth and smallmouth bass. Todd Norris from Midland was fishing 11 in the morning, the end of June. Houghton Lake, we got another Houghton Lake fish here, outstanding. Where were you fishing exactly?
Well, like in Houghton Heights.
Okay, like in Houghton Heights. Off the south shore there?
Yeah, that's where we were.
How deep was the water?
About 8 foot.
And you were fishing for smallmouth?
No, I was casting for pike with a walleye diver.
Walleye diver, right there is what that lure looks like. This was a dandy at 5.5 pounds. That fight like a pike?
Yeah, she started jumping out of the water, and I didn't know what it was at first. It was kind of neat.
Is this your buddy who was with you?
Yeah, he netted it. Just as we got it in the net, the hook came out of its mouth.
Good work. Congratulations to both of you for netting that. That's a job well done. Houghton Lake smallmouth bass. A summer catch that earns Todd Norris a Stroh's Fishing Award and the title as our Michigan Outdoors Big Bass Angler of the Week.
If you're going to Tip-Up Town this weekend, make sure your snowmobiles and ORVs are registered. 20 conservation officers have been assigned to Tip-Up Town in a DNR effort to enforce snowmobile and ORV laws. A public interest law firm is seeking settlements in a class action suit for owners of three-wheel ATVs. The three-wheelers have been banned in an agreement with the Consumer Product Safety Commission, which says they're accident-prone. February 1st is the deadline for turkey permit applications. DNR biologist John Urbane says depending on how rough the winter gets, we can probably expect a new record of hunter success. 1987 was a good year for hunter harassment legislation. 8 more states were added to the list of states that make harassing hunters a crime. That brings the total number of states having this law to 27. If you were born after January 1st, 1960, don't throw your hunting license away. After March 1st of this year, in order to purchase any hunting license, you're going to have proof that you took a hunter safety class or have previously had a hunting license. And duck hunters in the Lower Peninsula would be wise to look for sales on steel shot. As the DNR indicated in the Waterfowl Guide last fall, it is extremely likely that lead shot will be banned for use in the Lower Peninsula this fall.
2 years ago, Tip-Up Town, we had a thaw. The deer got a break in the winter just like they're getting this winter. And I asked John Nellis from the DNR's Houghton Lake Deer Research Station how this would affect the health of the herd.
Well, we did have a good acorn crop. The deer have been able to get into the acorns so far, and now with this thaw, in a way, it's going to probably keep them from digging up acorns that are still available to them. But it does give them a break from the severe winter.
Of course, when it thaws like this and puts a crust on the snow, it puts the food under their feet, but yet they can move around more to browse, right?
That's true.
Which is better? Which is worse?
The acorns would be more nutritional for the deer without a doubt. And with a heavy crust, they're going to be unavailable to them.
So it's sort of a toss-up as to whether this break in the weather was all that beneficial?
Well, I think in the long run, it's probably going to be more beneficial than detrimental.
You've lived up here a long time. You've seen a lot of winters. What do your bones tell you about this winter? Is it going to be rough on the deer?
It's hard to say. It's too early to say. If we have a mild March, the deer are going to come out in good shape. However, we're long overdue for a hard winter, and it could be here this year.
You feel like one's coming?
We're due for one.
Do you think the starvation losses will be moderate, great, small?
Well, if we have a hard March, I think we're going to lose a lot of deer. It's going to be a high mortality.
So that's what we keep our eyes on.
Yes.
Starting the 1st of March.
That's right.
Going to tell the story. But right now, the deer are in what kind of condition?
Deer are doing fine now. They've had a rough December and part of January, but they're still got a lot of reserves, and they're in fairly good shape right now.
Good news so far.
Right.
2 years ago, our deer herd got a break during Tip-Up Town, followed by a hard winter that saw over 100,000 deer starve. Unfortunately, Mother Nature is destined to trim Michigan's deer herd again. It's just a matter of time.
Tip-Up Town, USA continues through Sunday on Houghton Lake. Be sure and check out the exhibits at Fred Trost Museum while you're up there. Ron Foss's collection of big buckheads is still on display, along with a display on ice fishing. The museum is located right next to Coyle's restaurant. And the last Michigan Wally Tabor Safari Show is on tap Saturday, January 23rd at 8 p.m. at Saginaw Arthur Hill High School. DNR waterfowl expert Jerry Martz will make a presentation on how waterfowl are managed in the Mississippi Flyway Wednesday at Hazlitt High School in Hazlitt. Fly Fishing Western Montana is the program slated for the West Michigan chapter of Trout Unlimited meeting Wednesday night in Grand Rapids. All of us will be on hand February 12th through the 14th for the Central Michigan Sports Show at the Lansing Exhibition Center. Turkey hunters take note. I'll be doing seminars on turkey hunting there on Saturday and Sunday. And you can see the biggest bucks, turkeys, bears, and elk taken in 1987 at our Stroh's Hunting Awards banquet February 20th at the Lansing Civic Center. Our fishing banquet takes place the next Friday in Midland at the Valley Plaza. Make plans early for our 7th annual outdoor fair coming up June 24th through the 26th at Houghton Lake. And if you missed a number, you can get it by calling the Michigan Travel Bureau during working hours at 1-800-5432-YES.
Last year at Tip-Up Town, Roger McCarville had his first experience ice fishing. Now, I had never taken a handicapper ice fishing before, so we put him on a snowmobile sled, towed his wheelchair behind, and off we went. Well, how did Raj enjoy the ride? Well, it was a little rugged, but we made it none the worse for wear. A little uncomfortable, that's all. As far as Roger's wheelchair went, well, it didn't go very far. The wheels on a standard wheelchair aren't designed for moving through snow. So Raj sat in the shanty, and it was a good day. But this year, Raj had some help. Clay Beach from Argo Vehicles wanted Raj to try a six-wheeler with a covered cabin so he could drive out onto the ice himself and be protected from the wind and snow. It worked. Sandy Duncan, the inventor of the Iron Horse wheelchair, has special independent suspension for outdoor travel, even in snow. He loaned Roger an Iron Horse to try, and it worked. So Roger could get around at Tip-Up Town by himself, a major victory for a handicapper. But when you're an amputee like Roger or have a serious physical disability, Bob Garner asked Roger McCarville if this wasn't carrying things too far.
Raj, really, when you look at it, isn't it kind of stupid for you to be out here? I mean, it's cold, it's not pleasant, you could hurt yourself.
No, I thought for a while, you know, a couple of years ago, I didn't think I'd be able to get out in this stuff. But with the all the new things out today, it's fantastic. This chair that you see me in, I can go all over in this thing. This thing, I can almost walk on this snow in it. And the just sitting here watching all these four-wheelers, three-wheelers, or the six-wheelers, everybody's having fun. I enjoy the tip-up and the fishing, but when those things aren't biting, it's nice to have something else to be part of it.
But you know, you could have gotten a resort, booked ahead, that had a view of the lake, and sat back there and not gone through the danger or the anguish and just watched from inside.
Oh no, that's no fun. We did that before. Now it's kind of like Tim and I were talking earlier, you know, with the clothes, putting on the right shoes, the right underwear, the stuff that can keep you warm, the clothes today, there's no reason why people don't get out. All these vehicles you see everybody driving, they're all hand controls. So if you're paralyzed, it doesn't make a darn bit of difference. You can use the hand controls. It makes everybody equal.
But why, Raj?
Well, it's something that you can take part in. It's a heck to sit around and see everybody else having fun and you can't do it. You can come out here and, you know, be part of it now.
Roger McCarville is a part of the outdoors now. And this year, with the help of the right kinds of wheels, he could get out onto the ice by himself. We hope a lot of you will follow Roger. Not in his footsteps, no, in his wheel tracks. Follow him, because he's learning new ways of enjoying the outdoors forever.
How long can fawns and adult does survive in the winter without food? Fawns have been known to live a month, adult does 2 months without food. In cold weather, their bodies idle down as long as they aren't stressed. Stresses such as snowmobiles or dogs in a deer yard cause deer to run and exert themselves, killing deer which might otherwise survive.
Bad days, and I think it's just like any sport. You have to put in your time, and with that time, you're going to have the good days and the bad days.
You said that so well. Jack Jury gives about the best advice anybody can give about fishing. Go when you can. Put in your time, and no matter whether it's fishing in the summer or tip-up fishing in the winter, your turn will come. So relax and enjoy being outdoors. My turn finally came when a pike that was large enough to be legal finally hit a tip-up. I'll pull this baby up, but it's not moving, but the line is off there. Now, Jack says it goes around the hole like that in a semicircle, then it's a walleye. Huh, Jack?
They don't usually take out much line.
Yeah. You run there. Whoa! Oh, pike. Not a bad one. Not a bad one. Come over the hole here, John. Oh. No, I can get it. Oh! How about that? That is a frisky pike. Well, he didn't want to go far. That looks like a legal one.
Yeah.
Bob, you have legal it was, 23 inches. Not a monster, but proof that even we can catch pike. Something you could do at Tip-Up Town, USA.